Thank you. Good morning. Today is Monday, August the 3rd. This is the Cosmetology and Barber Examiners Board meeting. We posted notice of this meeting on the board's website on July the 30th. A link to participate on this WebEx meeting is also available online for the public as well as students and instructors. I appreciate everybody joining us through the WebEx link so that we can take care of board business in our new normal. We did the June meeting the same way and it went very well. After the meeting, the video gets posted if you want to refer back to it. If I could remind everyone that is on the call to please mute yourself unless you're asking the board members any questions or when we do roll call vote. We had one other person just join us. Who was that?
That's Destiny Cox with Dci Academy in Memphis,
Thank
Tennessee.
you. Thank you. If you could mute yourself, Dustin will update the name and we will get started. First on our agenda, I'm going to do roll call vote and then turn it over to our attorney for the statement of necessity. As I call your names for the board members, if you could please unmute yourself and then go back to mute, we will continue going. Mr. Ron Gillihan.
Present.
Thank you. Kelly Barger.
Here.
Ms. Patricia Richmond Parsons. Patricia Parsons. Ms. Patricia, if you can unmute yourself, we can't hear you.
Present.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Now you can mute back. Thank you. Mona Sappenfield.
Present.
Amy Tanksley.
Present.
Anita Charlton.
Present.
Waive Ranger. Susan Witcher.
Here.
Rebecca Russell.
Here.
Janie Russ.
Present.
And Judy McAllister. Okay, we currently have 2 board members out. That gives us quorum, so we'll be able to proceed. I will turn it over to Hugh Cross, the attorney for the program, to read the statement of necessity on the record. Thank you, Hugh.
Excuse me, Roxana.
Yes.
This is Frank Ambusa. Should I be on the call?
Oh, yes. Did I not read you, Frank?
I didn't hear my name. I'm sorry.
I marked you off. I've got Frank Ambusa. You are there, right?
Yes. Here.
Thank you. Please stay on the call. Absolutely, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Roxana. This is Hugh Cross, attorney for the board, and I'm going to read the statement of necessity for this meeting. According to TCA Section 844108B2, if a physical quorum is not present at the location of a meeting of a governing body, the governing body must file such determination of necessity, including the resuscitation of the facts and circumstances on which it is based, with the Office of the Secretary of State no later than 2 working days after the meeting. Furthermore, TCA Section 844108A3 defines necessity as matters to be considered by the governing body at that meeting, require timely action by the body, that physical presence by a quorum of the members is not practical within the period of time requiring action, and that participation by a quorum of the members by electronic or other means of communication is necessary. This is the scheduled meeting for the Tennessee Board of Cosmetology and Barber Examiners, and the purpose of today's meeting with the members attending by teleconference is to discuss the agenda as noticed on the website earlier. And this concludes the statement of necessity.
Thank you, Hugh. We do need a motion for that. Is that correct?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Board members, I need a motion and a second. If you could please read your name as you make the motion.
Patricia Parsons, I make a motion.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Mona Sappenfield, I'll second it.
Thank you, Ms. Sappenfield. For roll call vote, Ron Gillihan.
Yes.
Kelly Barger.
Yes.
Patricia Parsons. Mona Sappenfield.
Yes.
Frank Ambusa.
Yes.
Amy Tanksley.
Yes.
Anita Charlton.
Yes.
Susan Witcher.
Yes.
Rebecca Russell.
Yes.
Janie Ross.
Yes.
Thank you. That takes care of our statement of necessity. Next, board members, you received via email the documents that you needed for this meeting. Those documents included the June meeting minutes. Hopefully you've had a chance to review them. The next item I will need is a motion to approve those minutes, please, and a second.
Janie Ross, I make the motion that we approve the June 2020 minutes of the Tennessee State Board of Cosmetology.
Thank you, Ms. Ross. Do we have a second?
Patricia
Second,
Parsons,
Frank
second.
Ambusa.
Mr. Frank Ambusa has a second. I will do roll call vote approving the June 2020 board meeting minutes. Mr. Ron Gillihan,
Yes.
Kelly Barger,
Yes.
Patricia Parsons,
Yes.
Mona Sappenfield,
Yes.
Frank Ambusa,
Yes.
Amy Tanksley,
Yes.
Anita Charlton,
Yes.
Susan Witcher,
Yes.
Rebecca Russell,
Yes.
Janie Ross.
Yes.
Thank you very much. That takes care of our first items of call, and we will move forward with our appearing before the board that is on your agenda. The first school that is appearing before us is Sheer Perfection Academy of Charlotte. This is a new cosmetology school. Do I have any, the owner is Mr. Min Pham, Mr. Pham, or Helen, or anyone else on behalf of the school. Are you present and participating with us? Okay, I will let the board discuss if you do have any questions. These items were on the presentation that were added to SharePoint. SharePoint is the system that the state uses to protect documents for confidentiality, where you can go in and view them, but they can't be pulled off. So this is the presentation that everyone had a link to review prior to today's meetings. This particular first item is coming to us as a new cosmetology school. Mr. Pham school is located in Nashville. It is 4,000 square feet. The application was presented at the June meeting. At that time, the board members pointed out some items that needed to be clarified or redone. You had before you on the presentation, and these items were on page 2 through 34 of your presentation. On it, it included the revised contract, the curriculum, the floor plan, contingency plan, and all the documents that the board had asked for. Having no one participate on the call, I will let the board ask any questions. I don't know that I'll have the answers, but if everything looked correct, I will turn it over to you, Mr. Gillihan.
And I'm sorry, Roxanne, someone just joined us by phone too. Could you identify
Okay.
yourself?
Hello,
Yes, who is this?
this is Helen from Sheer Perfection Academy.
Thank you, Helen. We're going over your school right now. So thank you for joining us. If you can be on mute for just a second, and I'll see our board. We just started, so we're exactly at your school. And I will turn it over to our board to see if they have any questions.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Had the issues I believe we had at the school before revolved around several items in their contracts and some issues. And if the other members are satisfied that those have been corrected to their satisfaction, I don't see any other issues here.
This is Patricia Parsons. I agree with Verona. Make a motion to approve.
I will second Patricia's motion. It's Mona Sappenfield.
Okay. Roxana, we've got a motion and a second to approve this. Is there any other questions or discussion?
Thank you, Ron.
Hearing none. Roxana, you want to take over and take care of the roll?
Absolutely. Thank you. We have a motion from Patricia Parsons and a second from Mona Sappenfield. By roll call vote to approve the school, Ron Gillihan,
Yes.
Kelly Barger,
Yes.
Patricia Parsons,
Yes.
Mona Sappenfield,
Yes.
Frank Ambusa,
Yes.
Thank you, Frank. Amy Tansley,
Yes.
Anita Charlton,
Yes.
Susan Witcher,
Yes.
Rebecca Russell,
Yes.
and Janie Ross.
Yes.
Thank you. The next item is Dream Beauty Academy. They are on your presentation, pages 35 through 93. Ms. April Harding is on the call with us to answer any questions you might have. This school is located in Knoxville. It is 3,200 square feet. The new school application was presented also in June, and the board pointed out some areas that needed clarification. The updated documents, including the curriculum, the blank contract, floor plan, contingency plan, were all updated and received timely. I will let the board ask any questions they have of Ms. Harding, and otherwise we would need a motion.
This is Ron. I didn't have any further questions on this one.
Thank you, Ron. Do any of our other board members have any other questions or items to have Ms. April Harding respond to? Hearing none, do we have a motion regarding this matter?
Patricia Parsons, make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Ms. Parsons. Do we have a second?
Mona Sappenfield, I will second the motion.
Thank you, Ms. Sappenfield. By roll call vote, Mr. Ron Gillihan,
Yes.
Kelly Barger,
Yes.
Patricia Parsons, Ms. Patricia Parsons,
Yes.
Mona Sappenfield,
Yes.
Frank Ambusa,
Yes.
Amy Tanksley,
Yes.
Anita Charlton,
Yes.
Susan Witcher,
Yes.
Rebecca Russell,
Yes.
and Janie Ross.
Yes.
Thank you. All in approval. This school, as well as the previous, are new schools. So unless the board member suggests otherwise, we would be sending a field inspector and a board member to do the inspection on both of those once they have contacted my office and let me know that they're ready for inspection. So we'll proceed with those like we always do. The next item on your presentation was on page 94. This is Paul Mitchell, Memphis. This school, I don't believe Miss Caroline Salmon is on the call. Miss Salmon, are you with us? Okay. This school's item was also presented in June. At that time, they had asked for the advanced makeup piece to be reviewed and accepted for their aesthetics program. And they realized that they intended for it to be part of an extension to aesthetics as well as the cosmetology program. So they presented that documentation on your presentation. If you have any questions, otherwise, I was unable to approve this for the cosmetology, given that that's not how it was presented in June. Let me know if you have any questions.
Roxanne, I think that this is one of those scenarios where it was just not presented appropriately. And we have approved some of these makeup programs in the past, so I didn't see anything wrong with this.
Thank you, sir. Yes, I agree with you and had to bring them back for that, just to clarify that. So do we have any other questions or discussions? If not, we would need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve with Mona Sappenfield.
Thank you, Ms. Sappenfield. Do we have a second?
Patricia Parsons, second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Mona Sappenfield, a second by Patricia Parsons. By roll call vote, Mr. Ron Gillihan,
Yes.
Kelly Barger,
Yes.
Patricia Richmond, Patricia Parsons, I apologize.
That's okay. Yes.
Thank you. Mona Sappenfield,
Yes.
Frank Ambusa,
Yes.
Amy Tanksley,
Yes.
Anita Charlton,
Yes.
Susan Witcher,
Yes.
Rebecca Russell,
Yes.
and Janie Ross.
Yes.
Thank you. Next on the presentation, pages 95 and 96. This is Belladonna's Academy of Cosmetology. It is a change of location. Ms. Donna Byington is on the call with us to answer any questions you have. The school is located in Kingsport and is moving still within Kingsport. They presented a floor plan, application, and the fee all received timely. We would need a motion and a second, and because this is a new location, based on our history, we've normally sent a field inspector as well as board members, but I will let the board decide how to proceed.
Excuse me. Hello, this is Ron. I just had one question for the owner there, if I could, please. I always like to ascertain whether or not the move is going to be sufficient distance to cause hardship for your students. Is it close enough that they're not going to have to travel inordinately out of their way to make the move?
Yes, it's actually like 2 blocks away from the previous location.
Okay, all right. Well, that's not far at all. That's the only question I had.
Okay.
Ms. Byington, if I could ask you, what is the square footage of the new school?
Total square footage is like 9,000. The actual school part, because there's like a gym in the back that is
I just need the school
2,500.
part.
Yeah. 55,
Okay.
somewhere's around there.
Okay. That's the piece I wasn't sure of. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it.
Okay.
If there are no other questions to Ms. Byington, we would need a motion. Otherwise, I will let any of our board members ask questions.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve. It's Mona.
Thank you, Ms. Appenfield. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Jenny Ross, second the motion.
Thank you, Ms. Ross. By roll call vote to approve the school for inspection, and this would include a field inspector as well as a board member. Mr. Ron Gillihan,
Yes.
Kelly Barger,
Yes.
Patricia Parsons,
Yes.
Mona Sappenfield,
Yes.
Frank Ambusa.
Yes.
Thank you. Amy Tanksley,
Yes.
Anita Charlton,
yes,
Susan Witcher,
Yes.
Rebecca Russell,
Yes.
Janie Ross.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Next, we move on to the Nail Institute of Memphis. This too is a change in location. On your presentation, this was pages 97 through 102. Ms. Kanisha Wilson is on the call with us to answer any questions the board members have. The school is located in Memphis. It is 1,200 square foot. This is an apprenticeship only manicure school. The floor plan and application as well as the fee were received timely. As with our previous schools, we would be requiring the field inspector and board member to go. Once the school lets me know that they are ready for inspection, we'll put that on our calendars. Do we have any questions?
Roxana, this is Ron. Again, I'd have the same question for Ms. Wilson. Is this a very distant change in location, or are you relatively nearby?
yeah, it's, good morning, I'm sorry. Yes, sir, it is a, distant and change of location, but, all of our students have vehicles, so, it's not far as some of them traveling, 2 hours to come to school. So it's going to be conducive for us.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Also, since you are going to be an apprenticeship school, another question I have is, do you have sufficient shops that are available that are willing to accept your students for the apprenticeships?
Absolutely, yes, sir. We have students all over the city.
Okay.
We haven't had any issues with salons taking our students. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. Hearing no other questions. If there are none, we would need a motion to proceed.
Patricia Parsons, I make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Ms. Parsons. Do we have a second?
Mona Sappenfield, I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Appenfield. By roll call vote, Mr. Ron Gillihan,
Yes.
Kelly Barger,
Yes.
Patricia Parsons,
Yes.
Mona Sappenfield,
Yes.
Frank Ambusa,
Yes.
Amy Tanksley,
Yes.
Anita Charleston,
Yes.
Susan Witcher,
Yes.
Rebecca Russell,
Yes.
and Janie Ross.
Yes.
Thank you. Next, we have Global Beauty and Barber Institute. This is a new barber school on your presentation available through SharePoint. It is on page 103 through 130. Ms. Sierra Gordon is participating on the call with us. The school is located in Goodlettsville. The school has been licensed as a cosmetology school since June of 2015. The business license, curriculum, blank contract, floor plan, contingency plan, the 15 student contracts required for the barbering program, and the application fee were received timely. This school had the intention to open as both cosmetology and barber, and so now they are launching their barber program. I will turn it over to the board and Mr. Gillihan for any questions you may have for Ms. Gordon.
Good morning, Ms. Gordon. Congratulations on your expansion or your new endeavors here. Roxana, I have to say I don't have this one on report.
Let me see your top.
Go ahead, Ron.
I'm sorry. I don't have this one on my paperwork here. Can you tell me again what pages that's on?
103 through 130.
Okay. I don't have that. I don't have anything to look at here. Okay. I'll have to not opine on this very much because I don't have anything to see.
Got you. Okay. Board members, anyone else that has had an opportunity to look at the full presentation on SharePoint, of course, they share the floor plan with the cosmetology school, and they've laid out the divisions of where the barbering program would go. We've got someone that needs to mute us with a phone ringing. If you could, thank you. I'll turn it over to any other questions if you have any. This particular school is already licensed as cosmetology, so I'll leave it up to the board if they want just a field inspector to inspect. But given that maybe we haven't had everyone have full access to those pages, again, it's 103 through 130 on the presentation. I'll let the board decide if a board member should go as well.
Roxanne, this is Ron again.
Yep.
Refresh my memory. Whenever they opened this part of it, the Cosmo side,
yes,
they had presented at the time that they would have both programs at some point. Did they not?
They did. That's exactly how they presented. They didn't have the 15 student contracts, I believe, or maybe the instructor. So they put it off. And I know from speaking to Ms. Gordon, but I'm happy to turn it over to her, that they've been ready to launch this. It just wasn't perfect timing. And then, of course, different things have come up. So they're now ready. But from the very beginning, it was presented as a school that would be doing both. So their contingency plan would be almost identical. Yeah.
Right. I actually recall that. I don't have my older notes in front of me right now, but I do recall that meeting. Ms. Gordon, just a couple of questions for you. Are you guys going to have a separation between the barber side and the cosmetology side? Is there physical separation, or are you just kind of putting half of the group in one area and half the group in the other? Do you understand what I'm asking?
I do. Good morning, Mr. Gilliam, and thank you for the congrats on us being able to expand. And yes, they actually operate on separate days. So one has the clinic on a certain day and the other has the clinic on another day. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Okay.
This is not an apprentice program. This is just a full barber program, correct?
No, we are looking to seek for apprenticeship as well.
Okay. Okay.
And if I could add a note just for a quick second on the apprenticeship for cosmetology, that's of course been going on for quite a bit longer than the barber. On the barbering side, in order to release a barber student to work under a supervising professional, that supervising professional must also be a barber instructor. Just a quick note that the statute includes the word "and." Since we're discussing the school launching the apprenticeship for barbering, it's a little bit different at this time. That might change in the near future, but for right now. So I'll turn it back over to you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Gordon, of course, as I said, I recall the interview presented originally, and So I don't see there be a problem with the barber side of this, in my mind at least. The question I have, very much like previously, is making sure that in your apprentice program, as you're doing that you have sufficient shops and barber instructors out in the field that could take the apprentices as you have them.
Yes, sir, we do. You know, with the COVID stuff going on, and I know that we're all
Sure.
aware of, there has been some overcast, if you will, but we still have people and places in place for our barbers to be able to apprenticeship.
Right. And again, to finish up on what Roxanne said, everybody isn't aware, probably, or they haven't really looked into it enough, that there is that difference, that the barber, on the barber side, that receiver or that field trainer, if you will, does have to have that instructor's component. Maybe that'll change soon. We'll have to see where that goes. Just reminding you of that, but Ms. Gordon, as I said, I recall when you presented earlier, and I don't have any problem with this, Roxanne.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gilliam.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, Sierra, for the explanations. Board members, if there's any other questions or conversation, I welcome those. Otherwise, we would need a motion to proceed.
Parsons, I make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Patricia. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Jenny Ross, second the motion.
Thank you, Ms. Ross. Through roll call vote to approve the barber school, Mr. Ron Gillihan.
Roxana, because I don't have all the information in front of me, I'm going to abstain on
Okay,
this.
absolutely. Thank you, sir. Ms. Kelly Barger. Ms. Kelly Barger. I will come back to Ms. Barger. Ms. Patricia Richmond Parsons.
Yes.
Mona Sappenfield.
Yes.
Frank Gambusa. Frank Gambusa.
Yes.
Thank you. Amy Tansley.
Yes.
Anita Charlton.
Yes.
Susan Witcher.
Yes.
Rebecca Russell.
Yes.
And Janie Ross.
Yes.
Sorry, Roxanne, we had a couple people call in. I know one was Frank Gambusa.
Okay,
Is the other
got
one
bumped
on the phone? Yeah, seems so.
Mr. Gambusa, I skipped you on the vote to approve this school. I don't know if you were able to hear it, but I do have 8 votes approving it, so that would be quorum.
Yes, actually my call dropped and I had to recall back in.
Perfect. Okay, well, we've got you.
And who is the other person that just called in? Just one more person.
It may have been Kelly Barger. It may have been me, Kelly Barger, earlier. I accidentally cut off.
That's it. Okay. And I was missing both you and Mr. Gambusa. We moved ahead with a vote to approve Global Beauty and Barber Institute. It's a new barber school, but we did have 8 members vote to approve. So I believe we are good to proceed with that if the calls bumped someone off. And if I get bumped off, I will be doing the same thing, calling back, and Hugh will run this for a little bit. So we should be in good shape. Next on your agendas, we have Austin's Beauty College. This school has 2 items. The first will be, if I could ask everyone to mute themselves while we're on the call. Thank you. This school is doing a name change as well as a school extension. Ms. Lori Gibbs is participating on the call with us, and she can answer any questions. This school is dropping the incorporated from the name, so that was a simple name change. They will be going by Austin's Beauty College, and the school is located in Clarksville, Tennessee. They are moving within Clarksville to add more classroom space. This extension is to the current campus and is only 1 mile away, which by statute they, of course, are allowed to do so. It is we need a motion and a second, mostly for the name change, but also the information on the campus extension, which is a great thing that they're able to separate their classrooms. And unless the board sees fit and wants to do an inspection, we wouldn't need to, because at this time, that expansion is only for student classroom space. Their items are on page 131 through 135 on your presentation. And if you have any questions for Ms. Gibbs, I'll turn that over to Mr. Ron Gillihan.
Hello, Ms. Gibbs. Roxanne, this one is just pretty straightforward. I really don't have any questions on this.
Pardon me, Ron, did you say you had no other questions?
No, I had no other questions. This was pretty straightforward.
Yes.
And we've done these school extensions before. So you're right. I don't think we need any inspection on that.
Correct. Perfect. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us, Ms. Gibbs. Board members, if we have any other questions for Ms. Gibbs, I welcome those. Otherwise, we would need a motion, please, to proceed.
Mona Sappenfield, I'll make a motion to proceed.
Thank you, Ms. Sappenfield. Do we have a second?
Patricia Parsons, second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second by roll call vote. Mr. Ron Gillihan?
Yes.
Kelly Barger?
Yes.
Patricia Parsons?
Yes.
Mona Sappenfield?
Yes.
Frank Ambusa? Frank Ambusa?
Yes.
Thank you. Amy Tanksley?
Yes.
Nita Charlton?
Yes.
Susan Witcher?
Yes.
Rebecca Russell?
Yes.
And Janie Ross?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Next, we have your presentation on pages 136 through 147. This is Dci Academy of Salon Services. This is a new barber school. Ms. Sandra Clark is participating telephonically to answer any questions the board members have. This school is located in New Tasselwell. The facility has been licensed as a cosmetology school since December of 2009. The business license, curriculum, blank contract, the 15 student contracts that are required for the Barber statute, floor plan, contingency plan, the application and fee were all received timely. I will turn it over to Mr. Gillihan to see if there are any other questions.
Hello, thank you for being with us today. With the new school that you have here, I'll have similar questions as I had from Ms. Gordon regarding your division of your space between the barber program and the cosmetology program. Are they sharing the same clinic space, the same classroom space?
Ms. Sandra Clark, you've got yourself on mute. Ms. Clark, thank you. There you are.
Yes. Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. To answer your question, sir, our cosmetology is separate from our barber program. It will have its own clinic and its own classroom facility. We have expanded our space here that we have rented just for the barbering.
Okay. That sounds good. And that is really one of the main questions that I have, because you know, I have seen schools who can combine that floor space successfully. I've seen others that divide it. So I'm always curious as to how you're going to do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Patricia Parsons, make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Ms. Parsons. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Kelly Barger, I'll
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Barger. I've got Ms. Kelly Barger for a second, Patricia Parsons for a motion, and by roll call vote, Mr. Ron Gillihan?
Yes.
Kelly Barger?
Yes.
Patricia Parsons?
Yes.
Mona Sappenfield?
Yes.
Frank Ambusa?
Yes.
Thank you. Amy Tansley,
Yes.
Anita Charlton,
Yes.
Susan Witcher,
Yes.
Rebecca Russell,
Yes.
and Janie Ross.
Yes.
Thank you. All these schools needing inspections, I believe, this new Barber school as well will have a field inspector and board member inspect. They will communicate directly with me to start that process. And by statute, the office has 10 business days to get those inspections done. So just a quick heads up to our board members that I might be sending you requests to see if you can fit these in. The last school on our items appearing for the board is with Miss Destiny Cox. This is Dci Academy. It's an expansion plan. Ms. Cox is available to answer any questions you have. This plan is to expand next door to the current school. This is to allow for social distancing and create 2 separate classrooms. If I could ask you all to put us on mute to make sure that we don't have echoing. Thank you. If the board has any questions, I will definitely welcome those. This is on page 148 on your presentation, but technically the school is simply expanding classroom space. It does not impact the public directly, so I don't believe we would have to have an inspection, but Mr. Gillihan, I'll turn it over to you for any questions you may have.
Roxanna, this one is very straightforward as well. I don't see any need to have that inspection.
Fantastic. Thank you, sir. I agree with you, and I don't believe we need to do an inspection. So any other questions from the board members or conversation? Here, yes.
Roxanna, this is Becky. I just wanted to say to this school, thank you so much for taking care of your students and caring enough about their safety to want to expand to create that social distance.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Russell. You absolutely said, and I couldn't agree with you more, their plan is very thorough. The square footage is large enough to cover whatever the next stage brings. So I too really commend them on doing this and the students not needing to travel to do this. So I'm glad it worked out. Hearing no other questions or concerns or conversations to put before Ms. Cox, we would need a motion, please, in a second.
Mona Sappenfield, I'll make a motion to move forward.
Thank you, Mona. Do we have a
Janie
second?
Ross. Janie Ross seconds the motion.
Thank you, Ms. Ross. By roll call vote, Ron Gillihan,
Yes.
Kelly Barger,
Yes.
Patricia Parsons,
Yes.
Mona Sappenfield,
Yes.
Frank Ambusa,
Yes.
thank you. Amy Tanksley,
Yes.
Anita Charlton,
Yes.
Susan Witcher,
Yes.
Rebecca Russell,
Yes.
Janie Ross.
Yes.
Thank you. Board members, we are now on our agenda on the legal report, and I will be happy here in a second to mute myself. I'm going to turn it over to Hugh Cross is our attorney for the program, but we also have, I believe at the last meeting, we introduced Mr. Michael Underhill. He is handling our litigating cases, and Pam Spicer is also on the call, and we've had Pam with us for a very long time, and she does an amazing job. So I will let the 3 of them handle the legal report. This was emailed directly to you as they're redacted cases in 2 different pieces. So in the end, we have, I believe, I was going to say 114 cases, but we added 6 more. So we're at 120 cases. And Pam, I'll turn it over to you and let me know if you need me to do anything else. In the meantime, I will be muted.
Ms. Gamuccio, this is Mike Underhill. Can everybody hear me okay?
We can, Mike, and if you want to turn your video off, just for recording purposes, it makes it simpler. We've got everybody else without video. Sometimes it bumps people off when we've got the video, and then the recording is a little bit limited. So you're welcome to just do the audio piece, and I turn it over to you. Thank you again for everything you've done. We've got a lot of cases being presented, and a great job. So I'll let the board members add their questions, or let you first fill them in on those cases that you wanted to discuss. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Gamuccio. On today's report, like you stated, we have 120 items. on the legal report, 68 of which are cosmetology cases, including the 6 that are at the end of the report on the addendum. We have 9 Barber items, and then we have 43 represent items. Ms. Spicer and I have decided, since she's a little bit more knowledgeable about the older cases, that she's going to be the primary person on the represents, and then I'm going to go ahead and be the primary person on the new cases. Is that okay, Ms. Spicer? She says yes. So if the board has any questions that Pam or I can answer with regard to the represents or the new cases, we'd be happy to take those questions at this time.
Thank you very much. Give us just a couple of minutes to have everybody gather their questions together. I did notice that we had several of these cases that are complaints about folks being working during the mandatory shutdowns in different areas of the state. Several complaints about not wearing masks and things like that. It's unfortunate that we're seeing these things. Do we have any questions from any of the members?
Ron, I just need a few minutes to continue to review everything, if you don't mind.
Sure, no, we'll take all the time we need.
This is Becky Russell. I do have a question. As I was reading through this, I noticed that several of them said salon closure, and the recommendation was closure due to the salon being closed. Do we know with those that is the salon is closed like for good, or is this just because of closure during COVID? If it is a COVID type closure, I do think that we may need to revisit these once the salons are up and running.
Becky, this is Pam Spicer. It would depend on which particular complaint you're referring to. We tried to identify complaints that are closed, meaning the shop is permanently closed, versus shops that were closed just due to the pandemic. And I think in the summaries, if you look at each complaint, it says whether it was because of the pandemic or not. If it was not because of the pandemic, it's that the shop is closed, out of business closed.
Thank you. I think that answered my question, because the one that or a couple that I had looked through did not say it was because of pandemic related. So I assume that means that those are permanently closed. Thank you.
Yes, Becky, you're correct. That would mean they're closed as far as we're concerned, meaning we sent someone out or we had other information to indicate that the shop was permanently closed, not just due to the pandemic.
I think I have a question. This is Ron on case number 86. It's on page 30, I think. When I look at this one, I'm really just kind of making sure I understand what I'm seeing. That this individual is in compliance and there's not any problems going on with that client right now, or with that licensee right now.
Ron, this is Pam Spicer again. Yes, this is one I have held because I was looking for more information regarding these convictions. If you're referring to 86, is that the one correct?
That's
Okay.
correct.
So we have also reached out to her probation officer and given all the information that we've received, and the convictions were clearly prior to her receiving her license in 2018. I feel comfortable with the recommendation of closure at this point.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine. I just want to make sure I was understanding that. Pam, I'm also I don't have the number readily at hand. I'm looking for it. And the represents, we had a case where we had a case of human trafficking that came up
Yes.
about 2 years ago. Do you see what number that is? I'm looking for it right now.
Yes, I have those, Ron. It's number, for purposes of the other board members and people listening, it's number 72, 73, 74. All of the criminal charges have been resolved. This was in litigation monitoring. We had suspended the license. Now, given that the criminal charges have been resolved, the recommendation is closure with reinstatement of the manager's individual license.
Okay.
Obviously, the shop is out of business, and the manager didn't receive any convictions on any charges. All the charges were dismissed.
Okay, that makes sense then. Okay. Thank you, Pam. Give us just a couple more minutes.
No worries.
This is Becky again. I wanted to look at case number 12. It's on page 5. I'd like to see us flag this one as well to keep consistent with one on a prior case number. We have flagged it as well. I just wanted to flag to ensure that we do watch for any further issues.
That's fine. I'll make sure we do that. We'll change the recommendation to closure and flag on number 12.
And number 12, Pam, is a letter of instruction, unless I've got something wrong. So it'd be a letter of instruction and flagging it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Pam, this is Ron again, on case number 40. This is a shop using the MMA in their acrylics. Do we know if that shop had been inspected recently? Had an inspector seen any kind of evidence of anything like this beforehand?
Mr. Gillihan, this is Mike Underhill. On that case, I do not know offhand when the most recent inspection was, but I can pull that one and try to find that out and get back to you on that information.
Okay.
Or we can request an inspection.
Probably wouldn't mind seeing an inspection on that one, and just so you understand, this is what I'm thinking. To me, it's very unusual that a consumer would know what MMA is. So that's kind of a very specific complaint. I think that rule's been around long enough that there shouldn't be any of that stuff just sitting around in a shop or anything like that. Occasionally you'll find something in a back, in a supply closet or something, but might be good for that inspector to pop in.
Yes, sir. Thank you. We will make that change.
This is Anita Charlton. I also wanted to comment on that as well. A lot of times a client may or may not know what MMA is, and just because they got fungus on their nails does not mean that the product contains MMA. It's that the nail actually lifted and water was trapped under the nail, and that's actually what causes fungus and mold. So I don't know if that needs to be a notation on there as well, that the salon owner may not be using MMA, but it's just the fact that, and especially because of COVID and people not getting their nails done, if that nail had, if her hands were unattended for a considerable amount of time, it's a very strong chance that the product could have just lifted and mold and fungus began to form under between the nail and the nail plate. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Thank you.
This Ron, do we have any other comments or questions? Do we need more time? I'd like to thank the legal department, Pam, Mike, Hugh. You guys have done an amazing job on this. This report was very easy to go through, and we did have quite a large number of cases here. So thank you very much. I always do an outstanding job.
Thank you, Mr. Gillihan. Just to circle back and to recap the changes, on number 12, that's going to be a letter of instruction and flag. And then on number 40, that's going to be an inspection with an emphasis on the MMA aspect. Yeah, and if there's any other questions or changes, we'll go ahead and respectfully request for a motion to approve the report as amended.
Do we have a motion?
I make a motion to review the report as amended.
Is that Ms. Patricia?
Patricia Parsons, yes.
Thank you, Ms. Patricia Parsons. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second, Ron.
Thank you, Frank. We have a motion by Ms. Patricia Parsons, a second by Mr. Frank Gambusa to accept the legal report as amended by roll call vote. Ron Gillihan?
Yes.
Kelly Barger?
Yes.
Patricia Parsons?
Yes.
Mona Sappenfield?
Yes.
Frank Gambusa?
Yes.
Amy Tanksley?
Yes.
Anita Charlton?
Yes.
Susan Witcher?
Yes.
Rebecca Russell?
Yes.
And Janie Ross?
Yes.
Thank you very much. And I too want to thank legal. They worked really hard. And as Ron pointed out, to the cases that had to do with the stay-at-home orders and everything with the pandemic and COVID-19, they got at least all the cases that right now are in the pipeline for non-compliance. So don't know what our next round will bring, but they worked really hard to get all those presented to you to be consistent. So I too appreciate that immensely. If there are no other questions for legal, they will be able to stay with us. Of course, if they choose to, Hugh is going to be with us through the whole meeting. But otherwise, Mike and Pam, thank you so much. You're welcome to stay on, or if we lose you, we completely understand. We're going to move ahead to our applications for examination. On the documents put forth through SharePoint, we have pages 150 through 161. These are our applications for examination for individuals that have felonies. The following individuals: Adrian Bullock, Melody LaFarbe, and Tony Mitchell. These applicants have felonies within the last 3 years or are currently incarcerated. Their request is to be able to take the Tennessee examination, and it's presented, their documents are presented to the board members for review. They would be required normally to present a letter from the student as well as a letter of recommendation from the location. And in these cases, all three of these are coming from one of our lockdown facilities. Normally, the board approves agreed orders for a 2-year probationary period. I'll turn it over to Mr. Gillihan to see if anyone had any questions. Otherwise, we would need a motion.
Does anybody need some more time to review these, or you had an opportunity?
Do we have a motion to proceed with these and issue the agreed order to them?
Tricia Parsons, I make a motion to accept with the agreed order of probation.
Thank you, ma'am. Do we have a second?
Janie Ross, I second the motion.
Thank you. We have a motion by Patricia Parsons, a second by Miss Janie Ross. By roll call vote, Ron Gillihan,
Yes.
Kelly Barger,
Yes.
Patricia Parsons,
Yes.
Mona Sappenfield,
Yes.
Frank Ambusa,
Yes.
Amy Tanksley,
Yes.
Anita Charlton,
Yes.
Susan Witcher,
Yes.
Rebecca Russell,
Yes.
and Janie Ross.
Yes.
Thank you. We move on to our agenda as reciprocity applications. And I believe this is the first time, but I could be wrong, that we have no reciprocity applications to present. This is thanks to the board members, all of you having worked so diligently with us to streamline the process. We have been welcoming reciprocity every day. Very few times do they need to be presented anymore because we've got a clear path as to what's acceptable, what it substantially meets, and we're moving individuals very quickly. So this is a great thing. In one particular case, if a state is locking down and our close contact shops, our shops and salons are closing, we're seeing an influx of those individuals coming to Tennessee in large numbers. And that is a sign of our new world. Sad in some situations, but we're welcoming them to Tennessee, obviously, and moving individuals and licensing them as quickly as possible so they can work. If we have any questions about reciprocity, we can definitely go over these at the end, but we have no applications to present before you. So we are on to our miscellaneous applications, and on your iPads, the start at page 163. The first item we have is a request to extend the time period to complete cosmetology. This is pursuant to Tennessee Code Annotated 62-4-123, which states that a student has 7 years from the date of enrollment in a school to complete the required coursework. The board may, for good cause, extend this time frame. We have done this very few limited times. So before I present these, we always go over those unique situations. In this case, Ms. Chelsea Husky is requesting the board review her unique situation. She started in September of 2013, completing 555 hours. If I could ask everyone to have themselves on mute, please, so we don't have any echoing or other noises. Thank you. So she had some health issues that caused her to withdraw after the 555 hours. She went back to school and was on track to finish early in September 2020. That would have brought her within the 7 years. Due to COVID-19, she might not be able to complete the hours. She is concerned she'll run about 100 hours short. Schools have had to work in this new hybrid model, at some points closing completely. And so she's requesting the board consider giving her an additional month to complete. I will leave the time frame up to the board. She seems to be on track to maybe still finish, but is concerned to run short. And of course, she could then jeopardize and lose all her hours. So Mr. Gillihan, I'll turn it over to you if you have any other questions from the board members before we proceed.
Roxana, you may not know the answer to this one. The school that she's attending, do you know if they continued with online classes during the COVID period or the shutdown periods?
During a portion of it, they did. Like probably most of our schools, there was a week or two where most schools were closed just to try to figure everything out. They are currently open Something as a school owner that I know you two have had to think about is if a student is testing positive, they're closing, making special efforts to clean everything and then reopening. In this particular school's case, I don't recall if they're doing a full hybrid model or not, but they are open right now, and they did start with the synchronous or virtual classes soon after the closures as well. So she's just concerned she won't quite get it all done.
Right. I know, even with best prepared places, it's hard to change your whole course or program in the middle of the road and shift
Correct.
those gears. So with all the other considerations that we've tried to grant to everything and everybody during COVID, I think it would be an appropriate thing to certainly just for a month extension. I think it'd be absolutely appropriate to extend that. So.
Thank you, Mr. Gillihan. I hear your support of the month. That would bring her to the end of October. Are there any other thoughts or concerns? If we want to set a date or possibly give her 2 months, I welcome any other conversation. Then we would need a motion.
Ron, I appreciate everything you said, but in lieu of everything that's going on, I would agree maybe to just give her to the end of this year. And then if there's a 10-day setback or 30-day setback, she's not going to come before us. I mean, the idea is to get her on her feet and going. So maybe just give her a date till the end of the year, and I would be in favor of that.
Absolutely, I agree completely. This is Ron.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Ms. Sappenfield. We have a motion from Ms. Mona Sappenfield to allow Ms. Chelsea Husky the opportunity to have until the end of the year to complete her education. Do we have a second?
This is Becky. I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Mona Sappenfield, a second by Ms. Becky Russell. By roll call vote, Mr. Ron Gillihan.
Yes.
Kelly Barger.
Yes.
Patricia Parsons.
Yes.
Mona Sappenfield.
Yes.
Frank Ambusa.
Yes.
Amy Tanksley.
Yes.
Anita Charlton.
Yes.
Susan Witcher.
Yes.
Rebecca Russell.
Yes.
And Jamie Ross.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Next, under our miscellaneous category, this particular item starts on page 166 through 169. This is a request to waive the need to retest pursuant to Rule 0440-1-.10, which states an applicant must apply for and pay for the original license within 6 months after passing the examination. The board may, for good cause, waive this requirement. The board has previously authorized me to go ahead and do these extensions past the 6 months, as long as I am able to receive proof of good cause and to extend those for up to a year at the most. Mr. Gregory Kendricks is being presented before you. He's provided a letter, as well as his father's presented a letter on his behalf, and he clearly accepts that it's his mistake that he didn't follow up on the license. He had different things going on. If the board, he passed his practical exam in March of 2019, so I was unable to approve him. I welcome any other questions you may have to make a decision on Mr. Gregory Kendricks. Thank you.
Roxana, this would require him to retake both portions of the test, correct?
Correct, sir. If we didn't approve this, he would have to retake both all over again. And his, I've spoken to his father. He simply would love to, that he's got a shop open. And I just think different things that his son was doing work-wise kept him from realizing the urgency in getting the license. But in either case, on your SharePoint presentation, you have both those letters, his and his father's. And as of March 2020, of course, he missed what I would have been able to approve. And I do think COVID-19 played a role toward the end of that, but nevertheless, he's way past the 6 months.
Roxana, in reading into that, isn't his father going to work with him in this barbershop as well?
Yes, the shop is his father's, and he's been working at it. I believe his father actually works for for insurance in another category within the state, and so that's been his dream, is to work in the shop with his son, and just other things that they probably both had going on did not let them realize the needed timeliness to get the son's license.
And all he has to do is pay for it, right? Or we?
Correct. And he has, we just can't release it because he's past that timeline. So what we do in these, if they're within the year, those 6 months, after the 6 month to a year, the board has given me the authority to review the good cost, whatever it may be. And in some situations, it has to do with, working in another field, not realizing. We know that we've, at the last meeting, I think we presented someone whose documents with immigration didn't get them approved. And so we simply couldn't until then. So for the most part, it's just missing that last step that I always talk to instructors in schools about, that we emphasize on those 6 months. But the board has always approved these unless there are any concerns. We just have to bring them before you because you've given me authority only up to a year. And generally speaking, people just miss that 6 months by a little bit. They really do. So if the board did not approve him, he would have to go back to the theory and the practical, of course. And if he's approved, his license would simply be approved in the next couple of days, and he could start working with his father.
This is Patricia Parsons. I feel like, as we did with the one before with the COVID, I think we should approve him. And I would like to make that motion.
Thank you, Ms. Parsons. We have a motion to go ahead and approve the request presented before you by Mr. Gregory Kendricks to approve his license, even though he's past the 6 months. Do we have a second?
I will second it. This is Mona.
Thank you, Mona. And a second by Ms. Mona Sappenfield. By roll call vote, Ron Gillihan.
Yes.
Kelly Barger.
Yes.
Patricia Parsons.
Yes.
Mona Sappenfield.
Yes.
Frank Ambusa.
Yes.
Amy Tanksley.
Yes.
Anita Charlton.
Yes.
Susan Witcher.
Yes.
Rebecca Russell.
Yes.
And Janie Ross.
Yes.
Thank you. Our last item on our miscellaneous category is from Ms. Sasha Thomas. This is a request to waive the need to retest, also pursuant to 0440-1-.10, which states that an applicant must pay for their original license within 6 months after passing the examinations. For good cause, the board has permission to waive that request, and they've given me that authority for up to a year. In other words, past the 6 months, only 6 months further. Ms. Sasha Thomas has provided an explanation that she started her own business as she was going through a divorce, and she did miss that timeline. She passed her exam in May of 2019. I welcome any conversations regarding her item. This again is on page 170 to 172 on your presentation. Mr. Gillihan, I'll turn it over to you, and if there is nothing else, we would need a motion to accept.
In light of the previous case as well, it seems like a similar scenario. So I would ask if we have a motion for approval.
Patricia Parsons, I'll make a motion for approval.
Thank you, Ms. Parsons. Do we have a second?
Mona, I'll second it.
Thank you, Ms. Sappenfield. We have a motion by Patricia Parsons and a second by Mona Sappenfield. By roll call vote, Mr. Ron Gillihan.
Yes.
Ms. Kelly Barger.
Yes.
Ms. Patricia Parsons.
Yes.
Ms. Mona Sappenfield.
Yes.
Mr. Frank Ambusa.
Yes.
Ms. Amy Tanksley.
Yes.
Ms. Anita Charlton.
Yes.
Ms. Susan Witcher.
Yes.
Ms. Rebecca Russell.
Yes.
And Ms. Janie Ross.
Yes.
Thank you very much, board members. That concludes our administrative portions. We are at the director's report, and on your presentations on page 174, the first item is our financial numbers for 2020. They show an additional $80,660 that have been added to the surplus, putting the total For the May, as of the May reports at 978,518. I see us on track, pretty much where we thought we would end. June, of course, is the last month of financial documents for our fiscal 2020 period. And so at the October meeting, we should have full closure numbers. Usually we don't this early in August. We may even have them by the end of September, but I don't have anything else regarding the report that looked odd that I thought we needed to review. I welcome any questions if you have any. Otherwise, we will move ahead with our 2021 meeting dates. On your presentation, they're on page 177. I also emailed these dates to all of our board members probably 3 weeks ago, just to make sure you could look at your calendars. The dates for 2021 are as follow. They're all on a Monday, February 1st, April 5th, June 7th, August 2nd, October 4th, and December 6th. I looked at February to make sure it wasn't that date after the Super Bowl, and it isn't. If the board has any of these dates that they would like changed, they follow in line with us meeting 6 times in the year, every other month, and so far I think that's working well. Mr. Gillihan, any questions from you, sir?
Could you tell me that September date again?
Absolutely. So there is no September. I don't believe we've ever met in September. It's August the 2nd, and then October 4th and December 6th.
It was August. Thank you. That's
Got it. Thank you, sir. We will get these dates posted on the website. I will need a motion and a second to proceed. And if right now they are in line, and we have reserved room 1A with the thought that we'll at some point be in a meeting room. But if there are no other questions about the dates, I would need a motion to proceed.
Patricia Parsons, I make a motion to proceed with the dates.
Thank you, Ms. Parsons. Do we have a second?
This is Mona. I'll second.
Thank you, Mona. We have a motion and a second by roll call vote. Mr. Ron Gillihan?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly Barger?
Yes.
Ms. Patricia Parsons?
Yes.
Ms. Mona Sappenfield?
Yes.
Mr. Frank Gambusa?
Yes.
Ms. Amy Tansley?
Yes.
Ms. Anita Charlton?
Yes.
Ms. Susan Witcher?
Yes.
Ms. Rebecca Russell?
Yes.
And Ms. Janie Ross?
Yes.
Thank you very much, board members. Under our new items for board business, I have what is not really new, but just a quick conversation regarding our continuing education for our instructors. They start, I believe this starts on your presentation. Ron, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I just want to make sure something popped up, so I don't want it to kick me off. This is regarding our board members attending the continuing education sessions. So throughout all of the remainder of this year, our continuing education is being done virtually. The courses seem to be doing well. I'm looking carefully at the evaluations from the instructors that are participating. I sent all the members the 2020 dates when we originally signed up. And of course, if you recall, at that time we were pre-pandemic, prior to COVID-19, so board members signed up for the different sessions. What I'd like to ask the board members to do is look at the dates that are coming up. I know that the University of Tennessee Conference Center is coming up. They've moved their date to August. We have TSU that is, and again, these are all going to be virtual courses. TSU is in August as well. We have an October session that is being done by the Educators Success Seminar, also in August. In September, we have professional business consultants, and I believe we have another one through a student or teacher's point of view, as well as in November right now, tentatively. Ms. Cox has an in-person date, but that may have already changed for her. If I could ask our board members to take a look at those dates, please, and let me know now if you can, that you're able to participate, whether for both days or one of the two, just because with the new synchronous and virtual world for CE, I want to make sure to get your take on this and your thoughts as well. We will be probably at the October meeting, be presenting the 2021 information. And I want to make sure that everything looks in line and that you are happy with the way things proceeded this year.
Roxana, this is Mona, and I can do September 21st for the PBC class here in Memphis.
It's online, right? So remember that it doesn't matter which one you're doing. I've got you down
Right.
for September 21st. Fantastic.
Okay. Well, you can just, I saw other people signed up, so I was just going to do that today.
Fantastic. I've got you for the 21st. And like I said, the 2 days sometimes is a big commitment and difficult to do. Even if you do one of the two, what I will do is when I've got your names down, I will make sure that the providers that are putting it on send you the link to participate online, because you will be participating on behalf of the board and not needing to pay. I believe I'm going to be able to participate in most of these. And for the University of Tennessee, I've already done the recording. So each one of them, our providers have been using technology and really doing a good job. The reviews so far have gone really well.
Roxana, I will be attending the UT Conference Center one, and I'm also available this September 13th and 14th if needed.
Becky, thank you. And UT, you're doing both days?
Yes, I'm doing both days.
Fantastic. In September 13th and 14th. That helps a lot. Thank you all. And Patricia and Ron, I think we had you before on splitting the days for TSU. If I've still got you doing that, you just won't go in person. You'll do it virtually. Is that okay with each of you?
That's fine, Roxana.
Thank you.
Yes, that's fine. What's the date on that one going to be?
Tennessee has not changed their dates. TSU was on August the 9th and August the 10th, Ms. Parsons. And let me check real quick. I simply had Patty and Ron splitting it, but I don't know which days you've agreed to. So I'll leave that up to you. I'll let her know that you both need both links.
Okay. All right, and I'll get with Ron later. We'll decide, okay?
Sounds wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Roxana, this is Susan Witcher. I'm available for the September 13th and 14th date.
Okay. Becky, if it's okay with you, we'll let Ms. Witcher do both of those since you're doing the conference center in Knoxville. Would that be okay?
That's fine.
So Becky, you can take that off your radar. We can only have one board member participate, and that'll give Ms. Witcher, she was signed up to do a March session, and of course that got changed due to COVID-19. So I know she's looking forward to it. And that way, Becky, we've got you doing 2 days, which is plenty. And Ms. Witcher, I've got you on the 13th and 14th. If there are any other dates, board members, that we haven't gone over and you are able to participate, I welcome those. The last session that had been approved for Tennessee Instructors Retreat in October has been canceled altogether. So I did want you to look at the new list. It is the list that's on the website to assist our instructors. So I didn't have anything else. Mr. Gillihan, I will turn it over to you. I think I've got some of the items that we were missing for this, and I'll be happy to update the providers.
Roxana.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Roxana. This is Destiny Cox with Dci Academy.
Yes, ma'am.
I actually have the November date. I know you stated that October was the last date, but remember I have a November
8th and 9th.
Well.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. I will be sending you something today. I'm going to just go virtual with that.
That's fine. Right now, I didn't have anything on the record confirming that, so we're good. But I do have your 8th and 9th dates.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Roxana.
Roxana, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead, Mona.
No, this is Caroline Salmon. I'm with Paul Mitchell, the school, Memphis.
Ms. Selman, we approved you early on. You'll be getting a letter. They did approve your information.
Thank you so much. I apologize. I could not get onto the internet at all.
We get it. We get it. No worries. It's part of our world. I'll be sending you that letter, but it was approved. Mr. Gillihan, I'll turn it over to you again. See if you had anything else.
Roxana, I want to thank you and all the staff, as I said earlier, for the amazing job you do under such trying times. I don't know when we've had such a productive meeting in such a short amount of time. I think it went great. For our members, thank you all. I appreciate the efforts you're making and appreciate what you do for the people of Tennessee. Sometimes we forget to recognize the hard work that you guys are doing. And legal, we already talked about what a great job they're doing. Folks, remember why we do this. It's to protect the people of Tennessee. I think we made some good decisions here today, and we'll see how that goes. Roxana, we're here if you need us. Give us a call. Do any members have anything they'd like to add?
This is Patricia Parsons. If I'm needed at any other of the seminars, just let me know, Roxana, okay?
Will do, Ms. Parsons. Thank you so much. And thank you, Ron, for the kind words. I have got to also thank our entire board. You all are always there when I need to send things, when we have questions, when you're needed to help, you know, with items for the Economic Recovery Group or anything for our industry. It's been fantastic. You're all wonderful. So we're very lucky, and hopefully we are moving things along in a good way. So.
Okay. If there's nothing else to come to the board, we have a motion to dismiss.
To adjourn.
Adjourn, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Patricia Parsons, I make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Ms. Parsons. Do we have a second?
Second the motion, Janie Ross.
Ms. Janie Ross, we have a second to also adjourn. I have our time is 10:23. By roll call vote to adjourn our meeting, Mr. Ron Gillihan?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly Barger?
Yes.
Ms. Patricia Richmond?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Mona Sappenfield?
Yes.
Frank Ambusa?
Yes, and it was good to hear everybody's voice today.
Great to hear you, sir. Thank you. Ms. Amy Tanksley?
Yes.
Ms. Anita Charlton?
Yes. Everybody have a great day.
You too, ma'am. Thank you. Ms. Susan Witcher?
Yes.
Ms. Rebecca Russell?
Yes.
Ms. Janie Ross?
Yes.
Thank you all. We are adjourned. Mr. Gillihan, thank you so much.
Goodbye. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Bye, everybody.